So we've spent the last few weeks talking about what matter is when we really zoom in on it, right? We know it's made of particles and those particles move. And based on how those particles move, the matter is going to be either a solid, a liquid, or a gas. And you guys did really well on your test. So I know you know what you're talking about. Now we're going to zoom out a little bit. And instead of looking at the matter from a particle level, we're going to look at the actual matter. The first thing we're going to do with that matter is describe its properties. All right, when I talk about properties, and we're going to be talking about this for the next few days, when we talk about properties, we're talking about the word that we can use to describe that matter, right? How would you describe it as a scientist? So we're going to try this today, and you're going to get to choose any matter you want. For mine, I've chosen this delicata squash, which I grew in my garden. So when we describe our matter, we're going to first start to just use our senses, right? We're going to use our eyes, our hands, and our nose to look at it, to touch it, and to smell it, all right? So first, I'm going to start by just looking at my matter. I'm going to think about what does my matter look like, and I can look at things like color, shape, size. Is it shiny? Is it dull? Or anything else that your eyes will tell you. So if I look at this, I would say, all right, well, the color is it's yellow and green. So I'm going to click on this sticky note, double click on it, and I'm going to add some details. So I'm going to say yellow and green. Okay. How else can I describe it? Well, I can describe its shape. It kind of is like an oval with a stem sticking off, right? So I'm going to click on this one, number 2, oval with, I guess, what shape would that stem be? It's kind of a rectangle, right? Oval with a rectangular stem. All right. How else can I describe it? Is it shiny? Is it dull? I mean, it's not like I can see my reflection in it. I guess I would say it's fairly dull. So I could say it looks dull. How about its size? What can I compare it to? It's definitely bigger than a baseball. Maybe about the size of a softball, but that's round, so maybe that's not the best thing to compare it to. I guess I would compare it to a cell phone. It's about the size of a cell phone, right? Maybe not as skinny, but in terms of how big it is, I could hold in my hand and talk on the phone. So I'm going to write that in number 4. It is about the size of a cell phone. All right. And there's probably lots of other things I can do when I look at it. Um, but 4 is good for now. All right. Now I'm going to use my other sense. I'm going to use my sense of touch. So what does it feel like? Is it sharp, bumpy, smooth, sticky, slimy, hard, soft, etc.? So I guess I would say it feels pretty smooth, very smooth actually. So I'm going to say very smooth. How else can I describe it? Is it bumpy, slimy? Oh, it's hard. I mean, I can't dent it with my fingernail. If I try to dent it with my fingernail, I don't get anything. So it's definitely hard. Not as hard as a rock, but pretty hard. So I'm gonna say, uh, it is so hard that I cannot dent it with my fingernail. I needed a little more detail here to really describe how hard it is. If I just say hard or soft, that's not a lot of information, right? I should be a lot more specific. So it's so hard, I can't dent it with my fingernail. And then what else? If I feel this tip, the stem, it feels like there's like little hairs on it. So I'm gonna say the stem feels hairy and a little bumpy. So it is possible to have different feelings, right? I said it's very smooth, but then I said the stem is bumpy. Now, what if I had just said it's smooth and bumpy? Would that have been confusing? Probably. I need to be more specific. It's smooth, the stem is bumpy. All right, last sense I'm going to use, and I just need one thing here. What does it smell like? Does it smell sweet, sour, strong, weak smell? Or does it smell like something I recognize? Or is there no smell at all? That's perfectly reasonable. So I'm going to give it a nice sniff. Got to really get in there. It smells a little sweet, but just a little bit. So I'm just going to say it smells a little sweet. All right. So I've just described some of the properties of my matter. Obviously, there's a whole lot more properties, and we're going to learn about some of the hidden properties that aren't so easy to find. But your job now is to go ahead and find some matter. Don't just pick the first thing you see. Find something interesting. Find something that you're going to be able to describe in detail that might actually be interesting and exciting to learn about. And you can go into your own Jamboard and go ahead and add details onto your sticky notes. All right, go for it.